Hey guys, sorry about that. I know that was a little creepy. I got bit by a vampire that just had one really big tooth, and ever since then I've been acting a little strange. Anyways, if you see my skin sizzling in the sunlight, you know why now. Hey guys, why does everything look so fake? Media, I mean, specifically streaming services. Why does everything look so not real? I know it's not real. I know it's not. I know they're shows, they're movies, but why does everything look especially fake? I spend most of my time sitting at home doing nothing, and that's my job. So it's safe to say that in between doing nothing for my job and doing nothing for not my job, I spend a lot of time browsing through streaming services to try to find something to binge. And I recently have gotten to this really weird point where I'm just like scrolling through streaming services, going back and forth between HBO Max, or just Max now, and Netflix and Amazon and Peacock and Poopcock. And at this point, it seems like I'm spending more time scrolling through streaming services to try to find something to watch than I do watching anything. It's very rare that I sit down to watch a movie at home anymore. And, when I do, it's usually only something that's good. But, on the contrary, watching a 26-part TikTok about a movie that I'm never gonna watch, and, I'm only getting small parts of it that are then ended with some type of arbitrary edit of characters that weren't in the clips I just watched, that I can do. Also, I think recently we've been spoiled with some really good shows that have like 1-hour run times where it's basically just a movie for 8 episodes. So I've gotten to this point where I prefer looking for really good shows that have 1-hour long episodes instead of sitting and watching, I don't know, Craven, which I did, and it sucked, and I regretted it. And because I spend so much time sifting through streaming services and wading through just innumerable amounts of shows I will never watch, I've gotten to this point where I started playing games where I look at the titles of the shows and movies that are next to each other and I try to string them together into sentences like this. The menu? Pixels. It's what's inside the nice guys. Or how about a discovery of witches suits the Great British Baking Show? I don't know, maybe it does. Maybe discovering witches is really perfect for the Great British Baking Show. Can't forget about trap beef. Or here's my favorite, the Lincoln Lawyer Love Glow. Anyways, as you can tell, I'm doing really well. I'm sane, and I am not completely isolated from society. Anyways, doing this so much has had me thinking, why does every show and movie on these streaming services, specifically Netflix, look so fake? I don't want to sit here and speak on the quality of any of the shows or movies that I'm glossing over to prove this point. And it's just the way that the title screens and the preview picture, the way it's just so obviously manufactured to draw you in. And look, I know, I get it. That's the whole point. The point is to get you to watch the piece of media that they created. And if you said that, then, I would say, shut up. Of course that's the point. I know, but now it just feels so artificial, like it's just curated specifically to pull your lizard brain from your phone for just a second with oversaturated colors and impact font. So much so that it ends up blurring into this sea of just unwatchable slop. Everything looks the same, but everything also looks like some type of fake movie or TV show that you would see in a real movie or TV show. It has just become an overload of stimulation, visual stimulation, purely to just draw you in for just a second, just long enough to make them money. I mean, at this point, I genuinely think a black screen with no title would actually draw my attention in more than whatever new fucking Amy Schumer shit that Netflix is trying to shove into my face again. Again, don't get me wrong. There's great content out there if you look, okay? I'm not a critic, okay? I don't have a letterboxd. But look, I'm a busy guy. I've got nothing to do all day. I don't want to sit through and scroll to try to find good shows. I want them to just be given to me. I can't scroll through another mind-numbing collection of screens of Goober's Grand Day, Snake City, and Crapopolis, which, by the way, is a real show. And I've been sitting on this feeling for a few years, but it just hasn't really been something that I can piece together. There's just been this missing link that hasn't made it, quite optimal for a video yet. Which leads me to today's main topic of discussion, which is Netflix's new movie, The Electric State. I'm sure you've seen ads for this movie. It's got Stranger from Stranger Things and John Jurassic, of course, from his hit movie, Mario. This movie is based on a book, but even saying that feels like I'm spitting in the face of the original project. And I personally haven't read the book, but I can tell, just watching this movie, that it is a complete disservice to the source material and pretty much is just using the name, I guess. I don't really even know why, just to draw in people who may have read the book. This movie sucks. And if you watched it and liked it, I just have one question for you. How long during the runtime were you sitting on TikTok? And can you send me the good ones that you find? I genuinely cannot believe that this movie is a real movie and not one of those fake movies in the background of a real movie. This movie is the equivalent of a character in another movie pretending to play video games and moving their hands and body too much to actually be doing anything. This movie starts with probably one of the dumbest scenes of all time, which is absolutely hilarious considering this scene is supposed to be cementing into us as the audience that this character is really smart.
That professor said that test took Einstein 3 days. 3 days.
Yeah, then they stole his brain. No, Einstein took that test, became Einstein, then they stole his brain.
Come on, you did that test in 5 minutes. That took Einstein 3 days. That means you're really smart. Yeah, but then they took his brain. This is one of the dumbest ways ever to try to show us that a character is intelligent. And they didn't even show us. They just told us. What was the point of the test if you're just gonna walk out of the test and then the next scene be like, hey, you're way smarter than Einstein, by the way. You did that so fast, they probably got a super brain. At that point, you just wasted resources when you could just tell me he's a genius. Just tell me he's a genius and you're getting the same point across. And that is by far not the only thing that they decide to show and not tell us, as right after this we get the entire backstory spelled out to us in the form of news segments.
For years they never complained about working around the clock, but the day eventually came when they grew tired of the lives we assigned them.
As of today, we are at war with the robot population.
And within weeks, the war was over.
Apparently, the robots, which have existed in this retro-futuristic world for nearly a century, are fighting for their freedom, but then this guy, played by Stanley Tucci, makes robot drones that humans control with big, helmets on their head, and the humans win. That's all we get of that. That's it. They don't show us almost anything except for like one scene. And after all of that information is just dumped, steaming pile right onto our chest, we cut to Millie Bobby Brown, and 4 years after she lost her whole family. She now lives with a foster parent played by Jason Alexander, and he's mean, but she's angsty.
Oh, sorry, I have a condition where I can only live in reality. Sucks, but you go right ahead.
Anyways, she gets in trouble at school because she doesn't want to put on one of the big fucking stupid helmets that puts you into like a VR world that Stanley Tucci's character created. It's like the it's the biggest company in the world. Everybody uses these stupid helmets. It doesn't fucking matter, to be honest.
Turn the page.
But then they reveal to us in a very tactful manner how exactly she lost her family.
It wasn't from the bots, actually. Our car hit a deer in the road.
That's right. It was a deer. They got killed by a deer. Not a robot deer. Just a plain regular deer. Really cool. Anyways, later that night she gets home and she hears something outside, and it's this Cosmobot, which is like a mascot for this cartoon that her brother really liked before he died by the deer. And he breaks in and tries to kill her. I don't understand this scene. She goes from absolutely terrified for her life to just like, I guess I'm gonna help fix your fucking brain.
Stop moving.
Obviously, the robot is her brother, somehow, because, earlier before he was like, oh, theoretically, particles can...
That's actually theoretically possible. Quantum physics says that particles can stay linked way after they come into contact.
See? He said theoretically! He's really smart! They escape from her foster dad and are just like on an adventure now, I guess. This robot that just tried to kill her, let's go take an adventure now. You're my brother, I guess.
Are you a robot now? But you're alive.
Are you a robot now? Are you alive? Are you my dead brother? Cool, let's go on an adventure. Turns out the brother is like trapped in one of Stanley Tucci's big villain factories. I don't know. And they gotta try to figure out a way to get him out, but he can only speak in catchphrases. So of course, he has to use a can of Dr. Pepper to get his point across.
Available for a limited time only.
Doctor.
Huh? Oh, he's Dr. Pepper.
Doctor.
This is a good time to mention this entire movie is a product placement. Not like there's product placements in this movie. This entire movie is a product placement. Oh, and this is just the start. It gets worse, trust me. They get a location off the back of some box that her stepdad ordered from this robot prison, which I forgot to mention earlier. All the robots got put in robot prison, and that's why the robots are illegal. I feel stupid talking about this. I can't imagine anything from the source material that they have taken and put into this movie has not been bastardized in some type of way. So, I guess they gotta go there, because it's robot prison. I don't know. Once they make their way to the location on the box, they find Chris Pratt's character, who, is also wearing a horrible wig. I don't understand the wigs in this movie. He's supposed to be like a funny, like kind of badass, but like still comic relief character. And instead, he's just kind of really not good in this movie. His performance is just about as reined in as you could do as an actor.
Can still shoot a fly up a duck's ass at 100 yards.
He tries to sell this old gun to a guy in a drone body, and I just can't help but laugh at how stupid these people look. Look how stupid that little face looks. Just a tiny little human face on a little green screen, little big robot body, a little tiny face. I can't help but laugh. I can appreciate the concept. It's kind of cool. Kind of reminds me of Fallout, but it just looks goofy. Anyway, he gives him the gun, and the drone guy's like, oh, it's got bullets? Guess it's mine now. Then he just stands there and waits to be stopped.
Is it loaded?
Yes, sir.
Well, then I'll take a sip.
Cool. Really nice. And it's loaded too? Yeah, it's loaded. It's a gun. So, sweet. It's mine now. Oh. Are you gonna, like, escape? Nope. Just gonna keep standing here. Are you gonna stop me? Please stop me. Okay. Please stop me. My robot body! Anyway, Millie sneaks into the truck with her robot brother, and they head to Chris Pratt's warehouse. And this is the scene of the movie where I was like, this entire movie is an advertisement for just anything that could stamp their name on this piece of shit. We got Spam, Billy Big Bass, I guess, and Zagnut.
What are you talking about? They're Zagnuts. Everybody likes Zagnuts.
Zagnut? Oh, everybody loves Zagnut. I wish I could get a Zagnut. Gosh, they taste so good. Golly gosh. What the fuck are you talking about? Very natural conversation as usual. Anyways, Chris Pratt has a robot friend, Herm.
Everybody likes Zagnuts.
They end up finding Millie, and they hold her at gunpoint, which, of course, is the perfect time for some banter.
How'd you get down here?
Back your truck. Yeah, I know what you guys do. I know what you sell.
So?
My foster dad got tons of shit from me.
You've never met this man. You don't know this man. You don't know his intentions. And, most of all, he's holding a laser gun right to your head. How about, sure, get real chummy with him. Don't you know you can't trust a man with frosted tips? Then, Giancarlo Esposito's character shows up. He's like a robot killer with his little face on his little drone, with his little stupid face. God, I can't stop laughing at that shit. And he comes in, he's like, stop, I gotta kill this robot, I'm the robot killer, stop it. And they're like, no. So then they escape almost, but then he like blasts them. Luckily, Millie Bobby Brown teleports 25 feet over to some type of excavator, which she knows how to drive. Convenient, saved everyone's lives. Don't know how she got there. They escape. Makes sense to me. Now, because of that, though, they're stuck in the robot prison, where we're introduced to these scavenger bots, which I can only assume, are pivotal to the source material, because they do have this, like, pretty mysterious, almost unknown, kind of otherworldly feel to them that gives them this...
Scavenger bots. They survive by hot rodding themselves with parts of other robots they've killed.
Oh. Never mind. Herm, the robot, finds a bigger body, a bigger version of his body, and he gets in it to, carry them on his shoulder in a van. I don't know, you've probably seen that scene in the advertisements. He gets into the big robot body, which is just a bigger version of his own body, right? And instead of, like, connecting to it as a robot, he's got levers? Little levers that he uses to control the whole body? Hey, did you guys forget he's like a fucking robot? You can just plug him right into the neural interface and he'll just take over the body. What, he's got to control it like a crane machine? You got to put a quarter in and he's got to... sorry. Oh, I thought I almost had that one. There's no way that that's efficient. There's no way that that works and can perfectly capture the motions he's trying to do with his body. And God, it makes me angry thinking about how inefficient that is and how limiting that is. But that's not important. That's not important. just pisses me off. I don't know, there's something wrong with me where I just, you know, want things to make sense, unfortunately. On the way to wherever they're headed, I don't even know at this point, Chris and Millie bond over another exposition dump for no reason, because, you know, they just met 5 minutes ago, maybe maximum.
How'd you two meet?
We actually met in the war.
You're supposed to be killing each other?
We try.
And of course she should trust this man. This man she doesn't know that almost shot her. But I guess, I don't know, her frosted tips, they cancel each other out. It's just like a frosted tip telepathy or something. We then get a little peek into the villain of the story's motives, and turns out this whole VR helmet, stupid, big, clunky, dumb helmet thing is run through her brother's brain.
Christopher is gone.
Dog shit.
They took him and then they hooked him up and they started sucking out his brain, putting his big, smarter than Einstein brain, using that to control all the technology in the world, I guess. It makes sense. Remember? He did the Einstein test in like 20 minutes. That's way faster than Einstein. He's gotta be really smart.
Theoretically.
Anyways, yeah, so the villain's gotta find the Cosmobot that the brother is kind of hiding in, because somehow the code let him like slip out and control the robot. I don't know. The protagonists get to this mall where all the good robots in Robot Jail live, and that's the perfect opportunity, of course, for some product placement. We get a mention of Panda Express. We get Canada Dry robot. We get a lot of Twinkies. There's a lot of Twinkies in this movie.
We got canned beans on a Twinkie.
Oh my god, the Twinkie sweats.
Radio Shack in the back. Orange Julius mentioned.
What Orange Julius?
Oh yeah, and Mr. Peanut.
Mr. Peanut.
Yeah, the mascot of Planters Peanuts. You know the guy, Mr. Peanut. He's got his hat, he's got his monocle. Everybody loves Mr. Peanut. And, you know, of course, he's a pivotal character in this movie. He's really important to this movie, which makes sense because he is not in the book. You know, not as far as I can find, at least. So how much did Planters Peanuts pay for this? What, 10? 20 trillion peanuts? I can only imagine it was a lot of nuts. I even saw a Planters Peanuts ad for this movie. Not an ad for the movie. It was a Planters Peanuts ad about the movie, about how Mr. Peanut is in the movie, and it's like, see Electric State, and make sure you're eating some peanuts while you watch it.
Grab some Planters nuts and watch Mr. Peanut in the Electric State.
Come watch Planters Peanuts the movie, Electric State, the movie, and make sure you grab yourself a pack of peanuts while you watch it. No!
Grab some Planters nuts and watch Mr. Peanut in the Peanut State.
He's supposed to be like a likable mentor character who kind of is like, you know, he gives good advice and we're supposed to root for him, but, you know, he's just a big fucking peanut with a hat on. And that's all he is. He's there all the time, just reminding you, buy peanuts. Buy peanuts! Buy peanuts! My god, his stupid fucking peanut mobile is in the back of like every shot. They even use it multiple times. A big peanut car! This is not a movie. It's blocked like a progressive ad with the same oversaturated colors of some type of commercial you'd see on TV, and it exists only to shove more and more products into your little fucking peanut brain. Until eventually you cave and you buy peanuts, but not any peanuts. Planters Peanuts. Remember Planters Peanuts. Planters Peanuts. It's right there in front of you. Hell, I think they even do an ad for the United States Postal Service, which is that even a thing you can do?
What in the hell does the United States Postal Service need that?
What does the United States Postal Service need that for? United States Postal Service. Am I crazy? Do I just have ads on the brain? Are the products just placed right into my brain so much that I can't distinguish between what is a product placement and what isn't? Anyways, this stupid annoying mailbot gives them Dr. Pepper's address, because I guess he was there at some point. He left a little note for the little brother to eventually find him, because he's guilty for being the one who abducted him and hooked him up to the brain-sucking machine. So, you know, they take the peanut mobile. And they end up at this amusement park where the Dr. Pepper is hiding. The doctor is played by Ke Huy Quan, and he exists to, that's right, dump exposition all over us.
My brother's mind was the breakthrough escape needed to link the neurocasters and the drones.
But the bot hunter guy shows up and he's like, come on, let me kill the bots, please, just let me kill the bots, please. So they gotta run, and there's this pretty lame action scene that's, you know, almost too dark to tell what the hell is going on. Oh no, baseballs, my robo weakness, oh. no! Paintballs! My robo weakness! Oh! Oh no! My peanut hat! My robo weakness! Then Dr. Pepper, who we just met and don't care about at all, tries to do the right thing. And I can't help but laugh at this fucking scene.
If you want him, you'll have to kill me.
Stop! You're gonna have to kill me! Okay. Oh! So they end up capturing the little brother, and Millie and the rest of the crew escape back to the mall in the peanut car, of course, and everything is destroyed by the villain's evil henchmen, which is so sad. It's so sad, in fact, that Chris Pratt finally gets a haircut. So all the robots that are left team up, and they head to the main villain hideout, which they now know is holding the younger brother. And we get this really cool, big action scene that's really awesome with explosion and robot laser, and which is what I would say if I was 8 years old. Instead, unfortunately, my brain works, so all I can see is Chris Pratt standing in a big green screen pretending to fight a whole lot of nothing. Maybe that's just me. I know that's most movies nowadays, but finally, we get the real motivation of the main villain. Why? Oh, why did he capture an innocent child on the brink of death and hook him up to a juicing machine to suck his big Einstein brain out at the cost of, his surviving family member's happiness and, of course, the freedom of the child he hooked up to the brain machine? It's gotta be good, right? It's gotta be convincing good reason.
My mother was a 3-bottle-a-day drunk. When she tied one on, she was mean. But in here, she's all soft hugs and stuffed peppers.
Oh my god, it's his mom? It's his mom! He wants to see his mom in VR chat without being an alcoholic. Yeah, same. If I was in that position, I could totally see myself kidnapping an innocent near-death child and hooking him up to a machine that siphons his brain out. It's like the writers of this movie completely forgot that villains are supposed to have some type of motivation that the audience itself can kind of relate to. The villain does things, bad actions, and takes the wrong steps. That's what makes them the villain, but their motivations are usually stemming from something that, the majority of humanity can kind of relate to. Would you be a villain in a situation in which your entire family was taken from you? Maybe, I can see that. Would you become a genocidal mass murderer? Probably not, but you can understand how they get there, right? I don't understand how he gets here. You want to see your mom so bad? Imagine it. Imagine that she wasn't, an alcoholic. You can't imagine? You can't use your brain to imagine for just a second. Write a fan fiction. I don't know, make a 3D model of her. You gotta capture a child and hook him up to an iron lung that sucks out all his brain patterns? What the fuck is wrong with you? I can't even hate this character because they don't feel like a real human. I can't even see him as a villain, I just see him as a stupid character. Anyways, Millie breaks in with the help of the Dr. Pepper robot and they go in to save the brother, but then she goes into VR and turns out he's like, they're actually keeping me alive, but I don't want to be alive. And she's like, no.
I think I need to die.
So then she's got to pull the plug and he dies. A little bit of emotion here, right? If you have empathy, but the problem is it's ruined when you think about the fact that this character already died. This character died, and then all of a sudden they're alive, and earlier they're like, oh, actually, he moved his hand. He's actually alive. We gotta save him, but now he's dead again. So I just don't care. Mr. Peanut also, of course, has a final showdown with the main villain of the movie. That's right. Mr. Peanut, not the protagonists, fights the main villain of this movie.
Mr. Nut.
I'm here to renegotiate the treaty.
Yeah, go Mr. Peanut! Hit him in the nuts! Hit him in the nuts with your nuts! Your peanuts! Oh, that's what you get for messing with his peanut hat! I want peanuts so bad. Dude, how embarrassing was it to be in this movie, to be a part of this movie at all? You've got a renowned actor like Stanley Tucci having a final showdown against an anthropomorphic robot peanut. No amount of money is enough to do this. This is nuts! Yeah. Anyway, they save the day, but the brother dies, and then Chris Pratt dies, and then the other robot, Herm, dies. Just kidding. Herm is not dead. He's actually a smaller bot inside the medium-sized bot, which means not only is he a small bot inside of a medium bot controlling it with levers, but that medium bot gets in a bigger bot to control that with levers that then gets into an even bigger bot for the final showdown that is controlled by levers. That doesn't make sense! There's gotta be something lost in translation. There's gotta be a little bit of a latency issue there, right? Oh my god, it pisses me off so much. I don't know why, but it really does. Anyway, they saved the day, but, you know, unfortunately there was a sacrifice. The brother dies, which is sad, of course, but yeah, who would have guessed that at the end of the movie, the Cosmobot is still alive? No! Which means the brother's still alive, which opens it up for a sequel. Yay, more peanuts! So now this character has died, then they weren't dead, and then they were like alive and we gotta save them, and then they died again, and now they're alive as a robot. Who gives a shit about this? This movie's pointless! It holds no weight unless you wanna go by the weight of the peanuts that you get in a Planner's peanut bag. The only characters that die are either off-screen or they're basically unimportant characters shown just for a second to shoehorn in some type of exposition to have us understand what the fuck is going on in between the product placements for peanuts. Yeah, it sucks that Millie Bobby Brown's brother has to die, but he comes back. He comes back like 3 times. Who gives a shit? Now, I don't know if it's the same in the books, but I'm pretty certain it's not, because I feel like relating this movie to the book at all is just such a spit in the face to the original author. This is the most tax write-off movie I've ever seen that is not a tax write-off movie. It was actually released, and it should not have been. It feels like this movie, the only purpose of this movie was to fill the fat pockets of all the people that worked on it and to just siphon money out of our pockets. It feels like they're reaching into my bank account while laughing at me with a mouthful of peanuts, stealing all my cash. Chris Pratt gives one of his most forgettable performances of all time, which is saying something, because usually all he's doing is going, wait, to a big CGI dinosaur. And Millie Bobby Brown, also amazingly bad in this movie, which is saying something because I feel like she actually does have talent, but ever since Stranger Things, she's been stuck in this bad movie purgatory that she can't seem to get out of. You know what I really want to buy after watching this movie? Nothing. Especially not peanuts or Twinkies or orange chicken from Panda Express. This movie is the quintessential example of what I was talking about earlier. Everything feels so fake. This movie is fake. This is a fake movie that you see in the background of a real movie. And Netflix has the goal to say this is one of the top 10 most liked. It's the most liked Netflix movie of all time. The only people that have possibly liked this movie are either not really watching, somebody's grandparents, or a child. And even that is a stretch. Movies are supposed to be a vessel for art, for passion, for creativity, the work that all the people working on the movie put into it. It's hours and hours of blood, sweat, and tears. It's not some stupid tax write-off released under the name of some actual real creative work just so that they can make a few fucking dollars off fucking peanuts. Is this the worst movie of all time? No, of course it's not. Is this the worst movie being released in recent times under the guise of being a big budget production? Yes! And last year we had fucking Atlas. Are you kidding me? You did worse than Atlas? If you are a fan of the original series, the original work of the Electric State books or other materials associated, I know there's like a game around it, I'm sure you're legitimately angry if you've watched this movie. If you haven't, don't do it. Don't do it. It's the type of movie you put on to just shut your brain off and just stop thinking and just doom scroll on your phone and just enough time to look up in between TikToks and see a Planner's peanut ad and think in the back of your head, oh, maybe I do like peanuts. Maybe they're not one of the worst nuts to eat on their own, and they're not only good as peanut butter or in the form of some other type of meal. I think I want peanuts. No, you don't. You don't want peanuts. I'm telling you right now. This whole movie is just written and created and recorded to pull your attention away from the phone for just long enough to get you to buy something. They don't want you to watch it. They want you to have 5 different screens open at the same time, and then there's just enough background subliminal noise of Mr. Peanut giving exposition about how robots are treated unfairly for you to be like, nah, I really want a fucking peanut. These peanuts are pissing me off. Obviously, there is excellent media out there, today. If you want to recommend some in the comments, talk about your favorite pieces of media. I've been loving Severance. I'm not a highbrow media consumer. I just put shit on at the end of the day to watch something with my girlfriend, and I enjoy stuff. I just don't enjoy this. Not even I can enjoy this. This content, this level of content being put out onto one of the most popular streaming services in the world that has basically paved the way for all other streaming services, actually fucking disrespectful. I pay $15 a month for this shit. I'm not paying for peanuts. Anyways, guys, that's my big rant about this stupid movie. I don't have any more to say. I have a lot more to say, actually, but I don't have any more time. And if you enjoyed the movie, please Oh, wait. I mean, if you enjoyed the video about the movie, please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. Check out my Patreon, patreon.com/CoopNoop20. $2 a month to get the video a day early, your name at the end of the video. $10 a month, I'm going to say your name, and it's going to be even bigger on the screen. So I want to say a big thank you to Dot, Seafoam Gray, Kierge5003, Keely8008, Simp Magnet, Jamie H, Tyler XP, Melissa Cruz, Pineapple Man, and Cal. Of course, if I get any more $10 patrons, I will add you to the end of this video. Thank you guys so much. You're doing it so fast. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Bye, Peanut.
Grab some Planters Mr. Peanuts.